Hi everyone, I'm Noel. Today I'm going to do a movie review of the 1987 movie The Princess Bride, starring Cary Elwes as Westley, Robin Wright as Buttercup, and the wrestler Andre the Giant. So the plot of this movie is that there's this lady named Buttercup and she meets this farmhand named Westley. So at first Buttercup orders Westley around a lot, but whenever Buttercup orders Westley, Westley just says, "as you wish." So Westley was very patient with Buttercup. Over time, the two of them, Westley and Buttercup, they fall in love. But eventually, Westley has to leave abroad. He has to leave in a ship so that he can work and earn a living abroad, so that he can save some money for him and Buttercup to get married. But before Wesley leaves, he promises to Buttercup that whatever happens, I will always come for you. However, as the years go by, Buttercup receives news that Wesley was killed by this dreaded pirate Roberts, and of course, Buttercup was devastated because of that. After 5 years, Buttercup was being arranged by her family to get married to Prince Humperdinck, even though she didn't really want to. But then, before the marriage, Buttercup was abducted by these three bad guys named Vizzini, Inigo Montoya, and Andre the Giant, and they take her away in a ship. But then there's this guy in black who's Wesley. So Wesley comes after these three bad guys. Wesley defeats Inigo Montoya, he defeats Andre the Giant, and he defeats Vizzini. And finally, Wesley rescues Buttercup, and they finally reunite. However, just as they reunite, Prince Humperdinck's forces surround Wesley and Buttercup, and Prince Humperdinck captures Wesley. And then Prince Humperdinck is then forcing Buttercup to get married with him. Then all of a sudden, Inigo Montoya and Andre the Giant have a change of heart, and they decide to rescue Wesley. And together, Wesley, Inigo Montoya, and Andre the Giant defeat the forces of Prince Humperdinck, and Wesley finally reunites with Buttercup, and they live happily ever after. So this is a really fun movie. It was a great way to relax on a weeknight. So my favorite scenes in this movie were when the man in black rescues Buttercup, but then Buttercup wasn't sure who the man in black was. So Buttercup pushes the man in black over the cliff on a hill, and just as the man in black, who's actually Wesley, just as he was rolling and crashing down the hill, he shouts, "As you wish." So immediately, Buttercup remembers that this is like the famous line that Wesley usually says, and Buttercup realizes that the man in black is actually Wesley. So Buttercup immediately throws herself down towards the edge of the hill, and she also comes rolling down and crashing down the hill to join Wesley. So I just thought that was really funny. I also like the scene where Buttercup was submerged in a quicksand, and Wesley just immediately, he grabs a rope and immediately dives into the quicksand without thinking, just to rescue her, even without hesitation. So I really like that scene. And finally, I like the scene where Inigo Montoya finally has his revenge against the six-fingered man. So at the start of the movie, I was really wondering why they were spending so much time going into the individual stories of the bad guys, like going into the story of Inigo Montoya, right? And even during the start of the film, before Wesley and Inigo Montoya had this swords fight, Inigo Montoya had time to tell his story of how his father was killed by the six-fingered man, and Inigo Montoya wanted revenge against this six-fingered man. Now, one of my really favorite scenes of the movie was in the final scene where Inigo Montoya was stabbed by this six-fingered man. And even though he was already stabbed, he kept repeating the words, "I am Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, and I am here to kill you." And just repeats those words over and over again as he fights the six-fingered man. And finally, Inigo Montoya has his revenge and he kills the six-fingered man. I also want to say that I really appreciate Andre the Giant's performance in this movie. He was adorable and fun to watch. So I'm very familiar with Andre the Giant. I'm a huge wrestling fan. This movie was done in 1987, and 1987 was the year where Andre the Giant fought against Hulk Hogan in Wrestlemania III before a crowd of 93,000 fans. So Andre the Giant was at the height of his career when this movie was made. So I wish, sadly, like in 10 years from this movie, he would die of a heart attack. So I wish Andre the Giant could have appeared in more fun movies like this one because he's really fun and adorable to watch. I wish he could have wrestled less starting in the late 1980s. I wish he could have taken better care of his health, from the late 1980s onwards, and he could have just started appearing in more fun movies like this one because he could make a lot of money just by appearing in fun movies like this one, and I don't think he needed to wrestle anymore. So I really appreciate his performance here. He was fun to watch. So it's a really fun movie. It's a perfect blend of romance and comedy. So I really highly recommend it, and I hope you guys watch this movie. It's really good. Alright, so that's it, and see you next time. Bye!